This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for December 3, 2022. And in the news this afternoon, man charged after allegedly breaking into Trelawney bar. A man was arrested and charged with a shop breaking, larceny, knowingly possessing identity information, and the possession of criminal property following an incident on King Street in Falmouth, Trelawney on Tuesday, November 22. Charged is 29-year-old Romario Green, otherwise called Bow, of Tilson District in the parish. Reports from the Falmouth police are that about 7:10 a.m., the owner of the bar locked up her business establishment and went home. She then reportedly received a telephone call that her bar was broken into. A report was subsequently made to the police. During the investigation that followed, CCTV footage was viewed and Green was observed stealing liquor, cigarettes, and an undetermined amount of cash. On Wednesday, November 30, Green, who is well known to the police, was arrested. A search of his person was conducted and he was found to contain names, telephone numbers, and addresses of people living overseas. He was also found in possession of cash for which he was unable to account. Crawford wants long sentences for child sex abuse. Opposition spokesman on education Damon Crawford has proposed a minimum sentence of 15 years for men who sexually abuse underage girls. At the same time, the opposition senator is also calling for the age of consent to be adjusted from 16 to 18 years. Highlighting data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Crawford said that a total of 59,591 births to adolescents were recorded between 2009 and 2019. He noted that in 10 years, nearly 60,000 young girls had a baby. With the government's policy to have students in high schools for 7 years, Crawford said that the age of consent should be reviewed to allow this objective to be met. Discussing a United Nations Children Fund study, Crawford said that the document indicated that the objective of a minimum age of sexual consent is to protect adolescents from sexual abuse and to safeguard them from the consequences of early sexual activity on their rights and on their development. One of the consequences of early sexual activity is that the young girls will become pregnant and lose their future, Crawford said on Friday while making his contribution to the State of the Nation debate in the Upper House. The UNICEF study, according to Crawford, stated that young adolescents may be lured into sexual activity by older adults in exchange for goods. You know how many of these nasty men out there buy fast food to lure or little young girls suffering from the economic circumstances and poverty that they are in? Crawford said. If we want to extend the secondary experience to 7 years, we must consider the age of consent to be moved from 16 to 18, the senator insisted. Crawford also called for the establishment of a permanent pedophile registry. He also wants the government to equip the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse with enough staff to probe all underage pregnancies. He is suggesting that these investigators should be given the power to take DNA from suspects. If you have 60,000 underage girls getting pregnant in the last 10 years, at least 50,000 men should be in jail. That's how you bring down some of these criminals, said Crawford. Sections of Kingston under curfew. A curfew has been imposed in sections of the Kingston Eastern Police Division. The security measure commenced at 8 p.m. Friday, December 2, and will continue until 8 p.m. on Sunday, December 4. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. South along Sir Florizel Glassbowl Boulevard from the Cement Company eastern boundary to Harbor Drive. East along Harbor Drive from Sir Florizel Glassbowl Boulevard to Crusher Lane, then along an imaginary line to the Cement Company Dirt Road. West along the eastern boundary of the Cement Company from Sir Florizel Glassbowl Boulevard to the Cement Company Dirt Road. North along the Cement Company Dirt Road, running from the Cement Company eastern boundary to an imaginary line intersecting with an imaginary line extending from Crusher Lane. During the curfew, all persons within the boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. New criteria for ranking schools. A new set of criteria is being used to evaluate and rank Jamaica secondary schools. The schools are being evaluated and ranked using a value-added procedure. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams revealed on Friday that the new methodology will complement the traditional evaluation by the National Education Inspectorate. The new value-added approach was being applied to 150 schools, she said, with reports from the initial application being produced for 2021-22 and 2022-23, and as the NEI goes through its inspection cycle, those reports will become available. The evaluation is primarily linked to literacy and numeracy, she explained.
The value-added metrics, it's being utilized with 150 schools, and those reports would have been produced in 2021-22, and in this year as well, 2022-23, as the NEI goes through its inspection cycle, those reports will become available. Just to remind Jamaicans, the NEI model is specifically linked to numeracy and literacy priorities.
Stiffer penalties to come for perpetrators of gender-based violence. Perpetrators of gender-based violence will face stiffer penalties going forward following legislative changes. Minister of Gender Affairs Olivia Grange said work has started on amendments to the Domestic Violence Act to capture more offenses that would be considered acts of violence. Among them, she said, are amendments to comply with the new firearms legislation.
We are working on the amendments to the Domestic Violence Act to extend the scope and the meaning of domestic violence. Amendments to the Memorandum of Objects and Reason to ensure compliance with the Draft Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022. The new firearm legislation. A man carry a gun and he may take it and slap the woman, or point it at her, or take it out and just put it down so she can see that it mean business. So that has been taken into consideration in the amendments being drafted.
Government looking to improve plastic bottle recycling scheme. The government is taking steps to improve its deposit refund scheme of plastic bottles over the next year, according to Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for water, the environment and climate change. He said that the government will be working with all stakeholders, including Recycling Partners Jamaica Limited, on improving and upsizing the implementation of the deposit refund scheme. In his contribution to the State of the Nation debate in the Upper House on Friday, Samuda said that the move by the government will be supported by legislation. It will no longer be an example of corporate social responsibility, but rather an act of compliance, he said. The minister also warned that the government will be addressing microplastics in personal care products and the plastic lunchbox containers, which have replaced the banned styrofoam containers. Samuda said he will make a detailed statement on the way forward with plastics early in the new year. Over the last few years, Jamaica has implemented a ban on specific types of single-use plastics. The country has banned the import, manufacture, distribution, and use of plastic bags of specific dimension, polystyrene foam products used in the food and beverage industry, and the plastic drinking straws. The ban was imposed to reduce non-recyclable, non-biodegradable, carcinogenic waste from entering the waste stream. However, Samuda observed that in recent times, there have been cases of people flouting the ban. He said that 60 businesses have been successfully prosecuted for contravening the ban. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.